Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nia and today I'm adding to my mug collection, but I'm doing it a little different than I have done in the past. I'm not going shopping for a mug. Well, I already did. I am decorating my own mug today. I went to Michael's and I got one of their mug sets that comes with like the paint and the brush. And I did little arts and crafts. So if you like to see how I made the mug, stay and watch. I think I'm gonna start that right now. All right, let's get started. So I had to open up the mug, and why was this so hard to open? Isn't this made for kids? Anyway, these are the colors I got with the kit. Here's the paintbrush and the actual mug. I thought it was really cute, so I'm glad I got this one. I had to wash it thoroughly and dry it before I started painting, and here we go with the painting. I started with the water and it was going really good at first. I had little problems and the paint was going on very smoothly. I'm just gonna go ahead and speed through this part. Here's me finishing up a bubble, and here is how the bubble section kind of ended up at this point, but I do end up adding more to it. Now I'm working on the little starfish, and this was so cute and fun. I was also giving it like a little texture, and I feel like it was adding to the effect of the actual starfish. So yeah, giving myself props there. Now I'm working on the clam, and this is the clam I actually like, the one at the bottom. I do another clam at the top and you'll see it is not as good, but that clam, yes girl, that clam was clamming. This is where I make my first mistake. Well, I guess if we don't count the second clam as a mistake, but this is where I actually had to like fix something. So right here, yeah, I went just way too low on that side of the starfish, so I had to go ahead and clean that up and start that one over, but that's no big deal because the paint wasn't dry yet and I was able to wipe it off and get started on a new starfish. I added the texture like last time, and the color and the texture makes me feel like it really looks like a starfish. Maybe I should have added like the little dots in the middle for like, I don't know what those are on a real starfish. But anyways, moving on, I wanted to add these little dots to the water part just to give it a little bit more movement, and I really like that addition. And then here is where I messed up a second time, or is this the third time? I don't even know, but yeah, I made that little mistake there, and I had to wipe it off quickly before the paint dried. So yeah, no big deal. Kept moving on with the water. This part kind of connects to the other side of the handle on this mug, so I kind of just made them into one. And here is a full view of all I've done so far. I'm really liking it. This is where I start on the seaweed, and now that I'm doing the voiceover, it kind of doesn't look like seaweed, but we're gonna keep moving. Green is a color that I had, and y'all know I love green, but I wasn't sure what to do with this, so I said seaweed. There we go. Moving on to the next section. These are little wormies. I was thinking like, you know, a worm on a hook type vibe in the water. That was the vibe. So I was working on these worms, and here is the full view of all the worms I did in the end. I think I added another one later on, but here are all the worms, and here's a full view of the whole mug. I think at this point I was pretty much done, and now I had to wait 24 hours for it to dry before I can move on to the next step. So you'll see the next step in a few seconds here. All right guys, we're back. It is well over 24 hours. I think it's actually more close to 36, but the more the merrier, right? Okay, so the directions say allow for 24 hours to dry. Like I said, we're past 24 hours. Place item in cold oven and bake for 30 minutes at 360. I'm gonna put the mug on a baking tray just in case anything happens while it's in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in. All right, here we go. All right, I got a tray just in case anything bad happens while it's in my little kiln. I know it's just an oven. Just trying to have fun with this, you know? Okay. Now it's saying place item in cold oven and bake for 30 minutes at 360. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on 360. Oh, started that. Now I'm also gonna start the timer because the way I understood it, it starts now. If y'all feel like that's not right, let me know, but I feel like it's right. So I'm gonna give it 30 minutes, and then what else? Hold on. Okay. Ooh. Okay. After the 30 minutes, turn off the oven and allow to cool for 3 hours before removing. Use pot holders, place on a cooling rack, do not handle until thoroughly cool. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna let that 30 minutes go by, and then I'll come and turn off the oven and let it sit in the oven cooling down for another 3 hours. So I probably won't be back until it's time to turn off the oven. I might not come back for that. Who can say? We'll see. Anyway, bye for now. All right, we're back. I'm turning off the oven. I just turned off the oven and I'm gonna let it stand there for another 3 hours. That's what the directions say. So I'll be back then. All right, y'all, it's been way over 3 hours, but we're back. Let's get it out the oven, and I hope it's cooled down because like I said, it's been way over 3 hours, so it should be cool. Fingers crossed. I'm still gonna use gloves because who knows, I've burned myself recently and I don't want to do that again, so I'm using gloves. All right, guys, we're back. This is the mug. I'm gonna give you guys an up close look at the mug so you can get all of the angles. I'm also gonna talk about my inspiration for this mug, and I think it's really cool to share this with you guys. All right, here we go. All right, so this is the mug. I wanted to do kind of a beachy theme. That was kind of my goal here. These are the only colors that came with the kit, so I was very limited in what I could do, but I did what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? All right, so here is the up close of the mug. You can really see all of the details up close like this. So we'll start over here. This here I wanted to symbolize bubbles like water. Okay, and then we move this way. Here is like some starfish and some like clams. I like this clam way better, this one here, than the one I did up here, but you know, not an artist, but had some fun with this. Moving to this, I tried to signify like seaweed flowing in the water. You know what I mean? Is that what it's giving? I don't know. Some little wormies, because worms are in the water, right? So here are little worms, and then we're back to the bubbles. And I didn't do anything to the handle because I think the handle is cute the way it is. One more up close look of the mug. She's really cute. I really like this one. Can't wait to drink a little coffee or tea out of it. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am steadily adding to my mugs collection, trying to find magnets, but it's honestly harder than finding mugs. I don't know. Anyways, I hope to see you guys next week. And yeah, bye for now.